So today we're going to cover advanced ELK queries. Now remember that these videos are part of the SOC level 2 track in TryHackMe. Okay, before we get started, or before we start talking about advanced subjects, I want to refer you to this playlist, Elastic Stack Training Tutorials. And if you want to start this room, make sure first you have watched this video, Elastic Stack and Logstash explained for data analytics and cybersecurity. This video will get you started in learning all there is to know about Elastic Stack, Kibana, and its components and how they are used in cybersecurity and data analysis. You can also watch these videos where we use Kibana and other Elastic Stack components in analyzing cybersecurity incidents and different types of events. Okay, in this video we were going to cover advanced ELK queries, and honestly, if you want to practice Kibana and ELK in general in a more advanced fashion, this room, there is no better than practicing this using TryHackMe's rooms. So make sure that you are subscribed, because this room is only for subscribers. Alright, so before we start, we're gonna make sure that we start the attack box and that the machine is started. So I'm gonna reset everything. Okay, so in the introduction, the URL is typed here, so you can take it and navigate to the instance to start the investigation. So once you are in the home page, you can head to the left panel or the left menu and click on Discover. Upon clicking on Discover, we're gonna have this view where we get to choose the index and we get to choose the time. Remember that Elasticsearch runs on Elastic Stack. The main component is Elastic Stack, and here we're using Kibana with Elasticsearch to search these logs. Okay, now also remember that the index controls the type of data that will show up or that will get displayed. So basically, if you change the index, the data will change. Another important factor to consider is the time range. So if you go back to incidents, we see the time range here. So I've set the time to start from December 31, 2020 up until now for the sake of demonstrating the scenario in today's video. Of course, you can change this to fit your own preference. Now, in absolute, you can choose the month and the year. In relative, you will be able to round this up to the time, and now it just refers to the current present. Okay, so let's go back, and I just actually manipulated the date, messed up the date. So we're gonna go back to 2020 and choose December, last day in December. I'm gonna update. I'm gonna make sure that the number of incidents, as you can see, it's 1000. 1000 is the number that we need to match for the scenario. Okay, so we're gonna start answering the questions in the task, and while we answer the questions, I'm going to demonstrate the concept behind every single formula or every single query. So task 3, it's about task 2. Do you have questions to answer? Yeah, we have. So it's about escaping the reserved characters. So in Kibana, when we tab a query here, there are certain characters that are prohibited from being used. These characters are called the reserved characters. When we use them, we need to escape them with \, and it's also demonstrated here. These are the characters, and whenever we want to use them in a query, we just have to precede them with a \. I'm going to demonstrate this with an example. How do you escape the text password me and try equal hack ! So to escape this query, let's for example take this query and apply it here. Now this query contains reserved characters, namely it contains the !, the equal sign, the ampersand. So basically we're gonna have to escape this. If we hit update, we're gonna get an error. or no matches, because we need to escape this. So how do we escape these characters? We're going to use backslash. For every single character, there is a backslash to be used, and it comes before the character itself. So we have 1 ampersand here. We precede this with backslash, equal sign. So the backslash comes before the equal sign, and we escape the last one with backslash, and that's the answer. Using the wildcards, what will your query be if you want to search for all documents containing the words hacking and hack in the activity field? Okay, so let's go back to this view. So although these questions do not apply to the index here or to the events stored in this index, okay, but I like to refer to the answer, or I like to refer to the explanation using these fields. Remember, when we want to search in Kibana, we want to use the fields. Similar to Splunk, we have the fields populated on the left hand side, and here we select the field from which we want to extract the data. Same here. So here it is telling you that you are using the activity field, which doesn't exist here because it doesn't apply to the scenario, as I mentioned earlier. But this is the field activity. Okay, so we put the activity field in the answer because this is the field we want to extract the data from. And we use the wildcards. The wildcard matches all the characters depending on its position. So here in the answer, we have the word hack and then the wildcard. Any word we put, or any character, any word we put before the wildcard will cause the query to return all the events or all the data that start with hack and anything that comes afterwards. If we put the wildcard before the word hack, what's going to happen? It's going to return all the data where it doesn't matter or whatever it starts with, and then the word hack comes afterwards. That's the logic or reasoning behind it. Nested queries. Okay, I'm gonna head directly to the the scenario. So the scenario here revolves around the incidents index. Okay, we are investigating cybersecurity incidents, namely ransomware incidents. And in the question here, how many incidents exist where the affected file is marketing strategy? This is the name of the affected file we want to investigate. So basically we want to extract how many events or how many incidents where the affected file was, or whose name is this, matches this name. So to answer this question, we're gonna have to take a look at the fields and see if there is a field where it matches the file name. Indeed, we have one here. Scroll up. We see affected system, affected files, file name. So this is a field, okay? We can directly use this field in the search bar to retrieve data. Now, thanks to the autocomplete feature in Elastic Stack, we don't need to write the field name manually. So we can see here we have autocomplete. So we choose this one, affected underscore systems dot affected underscore files dot file underscore name. Okay, and then we need to specify the value which we want to retrieve, or the expression or the query. Remember that in Elastic Stack we use colon after the field name. It's different than Splunk. With Splunk we used equal sign, but here we use colon, and then we're going to specify the query here, so or the criteria. So we want to match all the files whose name is marketing strategy. All we have to do is to copy this file name between quotation double quotes, and we update. So we have 4 hits, means we have 4 events where the affected file's name equal to this value. As you can see, they are highlighted in yellow. So indeed, we have 4 hits, which marks the answer for this question. How many incidents exist where the affected files so we have another criteria here. Affected files in file servers are titled marketing strategy. So now we are matching against files titles, not names. The file title should have this string, marketing underscore strategy, and it should be in file servers. So let's go back. So we're gonna use here again, we're gonna use the file name field, but here we have another criteria to cover the location, which is file server. So here we can see in the fields that there is a field that controls or shows the data related to the system name. The system name here should in fact cover the type of the server: file server, database server, or email server. So here we have two queries to use, and to use two queries together we're gonna have to use logical operators and or not. In today's in the current case we're gonna use and. So we're gonna keep this field here, and we're going to change the expression a little bit. We're gonna tweak it. So we're gonna take marketing strategy, we're gonna remove this. Since we are matching against the title, we don't have a clear idea what could be the complete literal name of the file name we're looking for. That's why we are using the title here. And to match against all files where this title is mentioned, we're gonna use wildcard. So this, what happens if we execute this alone, we're gonna get 284 events. Let's take a look at the highlighted value. So as you can see, all the files names retrieved using this query start with marketing underscore strategy. All of them, they start with this title. So indeed now we matched against the files where the title starts with marketing underscore strategy. Remember, if we take this wildcard and put it here, update, look, now we get 0 results because there is no file whose title ends with marketing underscore strategy. That's the use of wildcards. Okay, we're gonna return back here, and now we have actually answered half of the question. We returned the events where the file name or the file title starts with marketing underscore strategy. Now we want to narrow down these events to the where the system type is file server. So we control this using the affected systems system type. So here we're going to use and, okay, and then affected, we have to complete, we're going to use system type colon. Okay, all right. So now we're going to match against file servers. Before we want to know what is a sample value for a system type. Looking at the events here, we can see here affected system, system name, file server, or file dash server dash 39. That's an example value of a system whose type is file server. Let's take a look at another example. System name. Here you have system name. We're going to use system name or system type. Let's see, system type or system name. Here, these are for system names. Now, for system type, yeah, this is a system type. So we have file server, and here we have web server. So as you can see, if we want to match against the values belonging to this field, we're going to have to use this formula. Okay, so uppercase file, uppercase server, or uppercase. So we have to use uppercase for the start of the word. So here it can be file server. And system type file server. So how many events have we got? Still 284. But the answer is 135. So we have something to fix. Okay, let's scroll up and see the events that are returned. I'm gonna refresh one more time. Okay. Oh, it's still refreshing. So 284 hits. And affected systems dot system type file server. Let's use double quotes. So now it's different. We're gonna have to use double quotes. So 135 hits. Indeed, it matches the answer. There is a true positive alert on a web server. So now we have the system type is specified in the question. It is a web server. So there is a true positive alert on a web server where the admin and its users, so here we have a mistake, typo, its users were logged on. What is the name of the web server? That is fine. So here we're gonna just change this to web. We're gonna keep the query. We're looking to extract data from the web server. So there is a true positive alert on a web server where the admin and its users were logged on. So you're gonna have to find a field that controls or shows values of who were logged on and who were logged off. Luckily for us, we have one. See here we have index score logged on users. So logged on users, you can use this one as well. Okay, so now we're gonna remove this affected system marketing strategy. You can remove this and put and affected systems logged on users. Okay, and here we're going to specify admin, for example, and we're gonna hit update. This is not the complete answer. We just want to take a look at the data. So now we have 22 hits where the system type is web server, okay, and the logged on users was admin. Let's go back to the question. A true positive alert where the webs and it were logged on. What's the name of the web server? Okay, what's the name of the web server? Let's see here, sample data. So here the web server name is web server 54. In another event, if we expand this, we see here the web server name is 35. So they are different. We have different web server names or different web servers that satisfy this criteria where the file type is web server and the logged on user is admin. Looks like we're gonna have to use another condition. So there is a hint here. There is a true positive alert. So we can specify the alert type. ID index score type. Let's take a look at an example event here. So incident comments, as you can see, this field may contain data about the type of the alert. So here it is false negative. We're looking for true positive. So we're going to use this field. So we're going to use here and incident comment or incident comments contains the word true positive. And now we have only 5 hits. Okay, so to take a look at the web server name, we're gonna have to expand this. We see here the web server name is web server 77. In another field, here we have it. Here it is 8. But they're all, as you can see, guys, true positive. They satisfy the conditions here. The conditions are the alert should be true positive and the logged on user is either admin or one of its users. So here it is true positive. The system type is web server, the logged on user admin, but here we have another user, Ashley. Let's take a look at another one. We should decide which web server name is the correct answer. Here it is web server 99. It contains the username admin and other users. Looks like we're gonna have to choose the event where the logged on user is only admin. Here admin on IT, web server 77. Another one, web server 26. But here it contains admin and other users. So the answer here is web server 77 because it is where only the admin is logged on. This is 91. Actually, I think I confused the question. I thought here its users, but it is not its user, it's IT. So basically the question here should be kind of, it should be in uppercase to indicate that the question is referring to the IT users. So in that case, we have one event we just passed. it is this admin and IT. It satisfies the conditions and it is true positive, so the web server name is web server-77. Okay, task 4. How many data leak incidents have a severity level of 9 and up? Okay, so remember that we can find clues about the incident type using the incident comments. Okay, let's go back and remove all of this. Leave only incident comments and use the word data leak. See how many incidents we have, or how many data leak incidents we have. So here we have 244 hits, out of which we want to extract only incidents where severity level is 9 and up. Let's take a look here at the fields and see if there is a severity level field. Indeed, there is one. We can use and severity level. Okay, now we can just use 9, right? But we want 9 and up. So here we're talking about extracting data in ranges. To extract data in ranges, we're gonna have to use greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal. Okay, this is what you do when you want to extract data in ranges. So here we're extracting data where severity level is greater than or equal to what? 9. And we have 51 hits. The answer is 52. So it looks like we missed one. If we change the order of this, I don't think the order matters here, but try anyway. So still we have 51. Okay, let's remove the double quotes. And now 52. See here, the difference between putting double quotes and removing them might actually give different results. So here, without the double quotes, 52. How many incidents before December 1st, 2022 has A. Johansson investigated where the affected system is either an email or web server? So we know now, we are familiar with what field controls the type of the affected system. It's either system type or system name. Okay, fine. Now we have two other criteria. We have a team member name, A. Johansson, and we have a date. So first we're going to orchestrate the system type. So we're going to remove this. Affected system type. Okay, the affected system type here, it's going to be, let's see here, email or web server. Okay. So let's say here email, okay, web. Can we return results using this? 444. So as you can see here, we have in the system type, if you take a look here, we can see email server returned, web server returned. Okay, that's fine. So we can return both. All right, and then we have the date. The date should be before December 1st, 2022. So we can use a timestamp here. And to use timestamp, we're gonna have to use @timestamp. Okay. And since we're talking about events before December 1st, 2022, we're gonna have to use the less than operator. And a date between double quotes. That's the formula. 2022, 11:30. Before December 1st. So now we match the date and we match the system type. The last thing we want to match is the member name. Do we have a username or name? We have team member's name. So we use and team member's name. The team member's name should be or should contain the word A. Johansson. So as you can see, we have 63 hits. which matches the answer. From the incident IDs 1 to 500, what is the email address of the SOC analyst that left a comment on an incident that the data leak on file server 65 is false positive? So you have many fields to use in the query to answer this question. So you have a field that actually shows you if the event is false positive or true positive. And you have a field that shows you that will actually need to show you the system name. And you have, again, the incident ID. So I have many things to use in the query here. Let's start with the incident ID. Incident ID should be between 1 and 500. So I'm going to remove all this and type incident ID, and it should be between 1 and 500. So meaning we can use an AND here. So more, or let's say, yeah, greater than or equal 1, and again, incident ID. In that case, here it should be 1, and here should be less than or equal to 500. And we can use another AND here. Going back, the analyst left a comment on an incident that the data leak. So the incident comment should contain false positive and data leak as well. So here we can use incident comments data. Let's see here. It should be data leak. Let's see now. Okay, so we have some hits now, 119. This is not a complete query yet. We have to go on and complete the rest. Okay, so the file server should be, or the system name should be file server 65. Gonna copy this and use another AND, affected system file name, file server 65, and we have one hit. Looks like exactly we hit the required event. So the question here, what is the email address of the SOC analyst? Email address is this, jalim@cyber.com. This is the answer for the question. Okay, going to task 5. Okay, task 5, including the misspellings, how many incidents has Jalim handled where he misspelled the word true? So we were talking about how to extract data where there might be typos or errors in the events, or the person who wrote, there might be some person or some analyst who wrote typos in the comments. We need to account these as well. We don't want to miss them. So to do that, we're going to use what's called the fuzzy search. The fuzzy search is conducted to take into account any typos that might have been actually committed while writing a statement or a sentence or a word. So here the question just asks you to do that, including the misspellings. How many incidents has Jalim handled where he misspelled the word true? So the analyst here conducting the search is suspecting that one of the other analysts named Jalim has misspelled the word true in one of his comments. You're going to have to extract the data that contain this misspellings. To do that, we're going to go back and modify this. So we have the team member name, okay, given, let's copy it as is and see if there are any hits first. We have 244 hits. Okay, and now we have and incident comments. So in the incident comments, let's first type the word true. So indeed, there are events where the analyst is JLM and the word true is mentioned in the comments. Now, the analysts are suspecting that the same investigator who is JLM has actually mistyped the word true in some of the comments. We want to cover these as well, extract them. To extract them, we're going to use fuzzy search. The fuzzy search is actually conducted by using the symbol or the character tilde. So we're going to copy tilde from here because I don't have it in my keyboard. We need to copy it from the room. So tilde, and now we need to specify the number of variations in the typo that we need it might exist. So if we put 1 here, it means that we are telling, or we're instructing, or we are actually conducting a query to return the number of incidents where the investigator. It means we are looking for typos in 2 letters here. If you put 3, it means we are looking for typos in 3 letters in the word true. Let's start with 1. So we have the same number, 109. Let's type 2, 108. Let's type 3. Nothing. 4. Okay, so we get only hits on 1, 108, and 2. So 2 corresponds to 108 hits, but with 1, we get 109. And the answer is 110. So why is that? I couldn't figure out why. But that's how you extract the typos. You have to specify the number here that could indicate or indicates how many words or how many letters that have typos in the word true. So let's say we want to find these out. Looks like we're gonna have to sift through many events to extract or to find the exact one that has the typo. All of these are true, correct ones. Anyway, let's go to the next question. How many incidents has JLM handled where he misspelled the word negative? So we are staying with JLM here. We're gonna change this. And first start with negative. See how many events where the word negative shows up. So we have 115 hits. Okay. Now we want to account for the misspellings. Let's start with a misspelling of 1 letter. So we're gonna use tilde. We're gonna have to copy tilde again. And let's start with 1 typo. With 1 typo, we have 116 hits. With 2 typos, we have still yet processing. Okay, we have 2. With 3, 115 hits. If you look at the hint, the answer is 4, but why is 4? Let me tell you why. In the hints, it's telling you first count of how many times negative was spelled correctly. So negative was spelled correctly. If we go back and execute this query, we can see the number. Looks like we have a problem in refreshing the page. Gonna copy this and refresh the page. And we have 115 events. Now, when we use tilde, okay, let's use tilde here. A typo of 1 and update. So we get more. So what's the reasoning here? The reasoning behind this is that when the fuzzing search accounts for the correct words or the correct spellings and the incorrect spellings. That's why they are more than the correct spellings counterpart. When you conduct this using only negative, we're looking for the correct spellings of the word negative, we got 115. But when we used fuzzy search to account for the misspellings, we got more events. And that's because now we are accounting for the typos. If we use 2, 116, 3, 115. So the actual number here is the difference between 116 and 115, which is 1. But here the answer is 4. And why is that? Because it looks like there is something in the configurations of the events here that is causing this difference. With the first time I tried the room myself, it was indeed 4, the difference. But now the difference is 1. No idea why. But the key takeaway here is how to conduct a fuzzy search to extract the typos or the misspellings. Proximity searches. Now, how many incidents are there when you want to look for the words data leak and true negative in the comments that are at least 3 words in between them? Okay, let me tell you how we're gonna go about explaining this. So first we're gonna leave incident comments as is and use data leak. So with data leak, we have 244 hits. Now in the question, they want you to extract events where there is 3 words between data leak and true negative. Okay, 3 words in between them. How are you going to do this? We're going to do this using proximity search. First, we're going to have to combine these together. So we're going to use data leak, data leak, okay, and then what we have to do, we have to put the other one, which is true negative. So now I'm specifying the 2 phrases. The first phrase is data leak and true negative. Now if I update, I'm gonna get 11 hits. Why? Because I'm looking for the events where data leak, true negative are mentioned. As you can see, there are no words between them. They are just connected with a colon, which is not accounted for here. But if I want to take a look at the events where there might be words between data leak and true negative, I'm gonna have to use proximity search, which again contains the use of the character tilde. First, I remove the double the quotation marks or the double quotes, and then I use tilde and the slop. The slop here represents the number of words that separate apart the 2 phrases. The number of words I'm looking for is 3. So update and see how it looks like now. So it is 792 events. Okay, it looks like we're gonna have to keep the double quotes. So we keep the double quotes and we have a problem. What's the problem? But found tilde. Tilde here isn't recognized. Let's go back to the... Yes, so that is another thing with this room as well. When you put tilde, it will throw an error. So the answer is should be 33 events. But for some reason, I don't know, maybe the room author would look into this. It is throwing an error whenever we use tilde. And other question is the same. It's gonna throw an error because we're gonna use tilde as well. Okay, forget about the answers. Thing is here about the use of proximity search. So the use of proximity search is when we want to extract events that contain certain words, and between these certain phrases there could be some words. Okay, that's the proximity search. So in here we use data leak as the first phrase, true negative at the second phrase, and then we use tilde 3. The 3 here represents the slope. So the slope here represents, again, the number of words that separate apart the true negative and data leak. Likewise here, how many incidents has A. Johansson investigated that have the words detected and negative in the comments that are 2 words apart? So again, here we're going to change this to detected and then negative. And here we are looking for 2 words separating the two, the detected and negative. So the slope will be 2. Okay. Now if you update, it's gonna throw an error, unfortunately. But let's try without the tilde. So none. Detected and negative. Yep. So no events contain detected and negative coming one after the another. So they have to be separated. So if you do that, you're going to have 40 events. Lastly, with the regular expressions, we have 2 questions. How many incidents are there where a client list file was affected by ransomware? So here we are expected to use regular expressions. Now, if you are not well versed, or if you're not familiar with regular expressions, then you might want to visit or learn some regular expressions. That's why I'm going to cover the answer for this question without the use of regular expressions. So, how many incidents are there where a client list file was affected by ransomware? Okay, so here I'm looking to find a ransomware word in the comments, since analysts are actually witnessed using the using words such as true negative, true positive, false positive, any words that would describe the nature of the event in the incident comments. So if there is a ransomware, I would assume that they are using or they have used the word ransomware in the comments. So let's use ransomware here. And we have 123 hits. Indeed, the word ransomware is clearly written in the incident comments. The criteria, or the other criteria, is that there is a file affected. The file name was client_list. Luckily for us, we have a field here that controls the file name. So if we use and affected files name client list, you get nothing, even if you tried without the double quotes. You still get nothing. If you just use the word client list in the incident comments, see if it is mentioned somewhere, and we get no hits. If you try with double quotes, you still get no hits. Looks like the client_list is not mentioned anywhere in the events, and that's why I'm wondering about the validity of this question. If you go back now to ransomware and take a look at the file names affected by the ransomware. So in incident comments, we see this is a ransomware alert. After some investigation, I determined that this is a true negative. Okay. We want true positives here. So let's use and incident comments contain the word true positive. Now they are narrowed down to 25 hits. Let's take a look. Incident comments, ransomware true positive detected on file server 52. So we have true positives here. Okay, now we want to take a look at the file name. So the file name is inventory. Let's see a file name where it matches client list. So we have one here, client_list. Okay. Now we're gonna have to match this. So we're gonna use and affected system files file underscore name. Let's say it is client underscore list, and then we use wildcard. And now we indeed get 15 hits. But in the answer here, there are more than 15 hits. So what about if we removed the true positive here and update? Now exactly we got 69, so we are way closer to the answer. So I'm not sure why there is one missed event, but the answer is 70 anyway. What's the name of the affected system at the earliest incident date that even is investigated with a file name containing the word project? The file name containing the word project, and the team's member is, this one is a little bit easy. So we're gonna go back, keep the file's name here, and we use the word project. Contains the word project. Let's assume that it starts with the word project. Do you have any hits? Indeed, we have 365 hits. Now we're gonna put the evanist as the team member's name. So use and team member's name. Okay. So we have around 81 hits. What's the name of the affected server at the earliest incident date? So we're gonna have to sort the events according to the time. So we use the arrow here, we click on the arrow, and we bring up an ascending order. Clicking again, they are in descending order now. So going back to ascending order, they start with April 30. Taking a look at the system name here, we see it is file server 78, which marks the answer for this question, and that was it. So this was about advanced ELK queries. You can also take a look at the notes file I have created about Elastic Stack. I've tried to summarize as much as I can about all there is to about Elastic Stack, and still updating as well to contain all the use cases. So that was it.